Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be. My name is Arcata, and welcome to the Mailbag Showdown, another fantastical, wastical edition of said show where I answer various questions pertaining to anime and otaku culture for your viewing/listening pleasure. If you'd like to send an email to the wonderful Mailbag Showdown, you can at mailbagshowdown@glassreflection.net. That is mailbagshowdown@glassreflection.net, and hopefully we'll get to you fairly soon, though don't be surprised if fairly soon also equals, like, a month. Without any further ado, let's get started. I was wondering, although I am unsure if you are a fan of the genre, what is your opinion on the quality of older, classic shonen genre animes, for example One Piece or Dragon Ball Z, in comparison to the newer shows that are coming out, like Fairy Tail or the newer Hunter x Hunter? Do you believe that they have improved in quality, or that they are simply retreading the same ideas far too often? Is it nostalgia for these older shows making it harder to compare to the new ones fairly? If you could improve the genre's quality in one way, what would it be? Well, the thing with me and shonen is the same for me and shonen, whether it be old shonen or new shonen, and that is that there's way too many freaking episodes, and generally there does not need to be. Like, I can't speak for One Piece, but for Dragon Ball Z especially, there is a ridiculous amount of episodes for that show that just don't need to be there. Like, you can cut half of it out, and you'd be fine. In fact, they did that, and, well, a lot of people still prefer the original Z over Kai, but that's neither here nor there. And generally, my problem with shonen in general is just the amount of filler that they have. So that's how I would improve shonen. I would wait until the stories are completed, and then do the show. Like, if the manga's still going, unless you know you can get a good couple of seasons out of the content that's already available, don't touch it. Just don't. Leave it. Because if you have to make up filler arcs, you're just gonna be boring people, or boring me at least. Like, I know a lot of people still love all the filler stuff, but that's not me. So, yeah, that's shonen for you. Next up, I had some questions that had troubled me about this hobby. Now, I truly love anime as it provides me with hours upon hours of entertainment, but I have always been ashamed of it around practically everyone. Why is that? How is it possible that something I can love can make me afraid at the same time? Maybe you can shed some light on this problem, which I think might have something to do with my next question. Another thing that worried me a bit happened when I was watching Genshiken. Now, this might sound silly, and I really hope that this is a stereotype, but do otakus really buy copious amounts of porn? That is just not who I am, and something that I cannot agree with. On top of that, what makes me livid is how loathful anime like School Days, which I was unfortunate enough to stumble upon, tried to capitalize on this vulgar aspect. Now, School Days wasn't porn, but it was getting there. This kind of show, I think, is what really gave people the wrong impression of what, to me, anime is about, and cheapened what it means to people who truly enjoy it. When I see a show like Genshiken that pokes fun at that, I laugh, but it makes me wonder if people are really like that. Well, Axel, to answer your first question, the reason you probably feel ashamed is because you don't believe that anyone has the same likes as you do. You don't believe any of your friends or anybody you normally hang around likes anime, and that they themselves have just a wrong mindset about it. Like, if you believe that everybody around you thinks that anime is just porn and tentacle rape. And so you're very frightened about coming out and saying, I enjoy anime, without being able to fully explain yourself, because you're afraid you'll get labeled as someone who enjoys watching porn and tentacle rape. It's about the same problem that bronies are having right now with My Little Pony, how everybody says, oh, you watch My Little Pony? And then they don't even, not having even seen the new show, they automatically flip back to the older versions of My Little Pony, where it's just like, all happy, fun time, and it's a little bit different now. It's still My Little Pony, but it's different. But it's just that labeling that you want to try to avoid. I don't really think there's a way to get around that. It's either you live with the fact that people are going to label you a certain way, regardless if it's that label is correct or actually truthful in any way, or you just ignore it and have this be like your little secret life. Your secret life as an otaku, unbeknownst to the world around you. And for some people, that can work too. As for the porn question, it depends on the person. Just because you watch anime does not mean you watch copious amounts of porn. It's almost like saying just because you're a guy, you watch copious amounts of regular porn. Not true. But it just so happens that there are a lot of guys who, if they were not fans of anime, would buy regular porn, are instead buying anime porn instead. It's just a part of the industry. It's not for everyone. It's not something that everybody does. But it exists. It's not prominent. It's just guys that want to watch porn and just happen to prefer animated porn. It's like trying to say that someone who enjoys going to the theater and watching live-action movies also really enjoys watching regular porn because of that. It's not the same thing. You can't relate those two things. That connection does not exist. Just because you watch anime does not mean you watch anime porn, being hentai. It's just not true. There are people that enjoy watching hentai, and that's fine for them. But it's not a requirement. And that's basically the gist of everything. If Princess Tutu is the manliest show ever made, what would you say is the girliest? There is no girly show. No, I'm serious. There is no girly show and there is no manly shows. There are shows that are catered to males and there are shows that are catered to females. But just because you like a certain show, or just because this sort of group likes a particular show, does not mean that it is a manly show or a girly show. My Little Pony has been breaking all of that. Oh wow, this is the second time I've mentioned pony in a mailbag. That's a new record. I'll probably break this later on. But no, it stands true. Just because you watch something like Princess Tutu or Super Gals or like Pre-Tier or Madoka well, maybe not Madoka Magica, or Cardcaptor Sakura, that's a better example. Just because you like and watch those shows does not mean that you're like any less masculine or anything. So I wouldn't say that there are shows that are particularly girly or shows that are particularly manly. And that's how I would put that. Next up, a whole bunch of questions. Okay, a couple of questions here, though they're all related to each other. 1. What is your opinion on Aniplex and their pricing release structure, notably what they did with Durarararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararararar Aniplex because of their pricing, and they're way more expensive than, say, like Funimation's pricing model, and I'm fine with it, actually. My general thought is, if I don't think the anime's worth it to buy, I don't buy it. And that goes straight for everything. If something that Funimation released, let's say it's a full season for like $50, if I don't think the show's worth $50, I won't buy it. Conversely, if Aniplex put it out as a show like Madoka Magica for $80, if I think it's worth $80, which, by the way, I do, I will buy it. Well, if I have the money anyways. And Aniplex is just, they're just doing a different thing. They're trying to cope with lower sales by having higher prices, and they think that they're gonna get a little bit more return for their investments if they do it that way. Sure, they might not have as many people buying the anime, but they feel like the higher prices makes up for that. I remember when I was a kid, it was a pricing model or a little bit of a financial game that you were told to do at once. It was like you're trying to sell lemonade, and you're trying to judge how much you should charge for the lemonade. If you charge too much for your lemonade, nobody's gonna buy it. If you charge too little, everybody's gonna buy it, but you're not gonna make enough money to pay off what you got. So you have to do this balancing act of charge enough so that you actually make a profit, but at the same time not turn away a lot of customers because of a high price. And that's what Aniplex is doing right now, and I think that they're doing fairly well on it. Like, it's not too overzealous. Plus, a lot of their releases have these really nice boxes. Like, I got a box for House of Five Leaves, and it's like a box. The packaging is something else, and I really do like it. Will I always buy everything from Aniplex because it's too high? Probably not. But at the same time, I don't buy everything Funimation puts out because they're cheaper either. So it just depends on personal preference. Oh wow, and I spent that long talking about just one. Okay, number 2. How would you rank or categorize the R1 studios here in North America? I wouldn't, because everybody has their own special ways of doing things. Funimation is guaranteed to do dubs, Sentai's basically guaranteed to do crap, though they are the ones that are picking up all the good licenses lately that I've noticed, and Aniplex is actually pretty good overall. So it depends. Like, Funimation has a lot of shows that I just don't care for, but they have guaranteed dubs. Aniplex has some really good shows, though a small amount of them, though they're quite expensive, as mentioned in the previous answer. And Sentai, their dubbing and subbing qualities are horrible, but they're the ones picking up all the licenses, or at least all the ones that I would like to see actually out on DVD. So I can't really rank them because they all have their pluses and their minuses. Number 3, will you ever actually show us your anime collection on camera? I actually have. I can't remember when it was. I think it was last summer or something, when I first got my DVD case, and I was putting everything out on my bed and getting it all nice and organized into the sleeve cases that I have. But I have done that before. Any anime recommendations that come in a nice boxed set that are relatively cheap, new, and used? Just check out Right Stuff. I can't actually put anything out there like that because prices change on everything very quickly. So if I say something now and someone watches this in 2 weeks and everything changes, that just happens. So just check out Right Stuff and check out all the save editions of stuff that Funimation's been putting out, because those are relatively cheaper than basically everything else they got put out. Do you know you're amazing? Because you totally are. Oh, stop it. You're too kind. Anyways, And for our final question of the day, hello Arcata. For starters, thank you for all your reviews. My question is, if you have a holy grail war with anime characters, who would you have in this battle? For example, having someone from Madoka Magica being the caster class. They can be a stretch since Archer class from Fate Stay Night does not actually use a bow. I randomly thought of this for one day, and I have my list, and I was just curious about who would you put in the battle. And second question is, if you can have a servant, who would it be and from what class? It could be a real-life hero or anime hero. Okay, well, let's think about this for a second. It's not going to be too detailed. I'm just going to pop this off the top of my head. Well, Saber, I'm going to just make Saber, because that's easy. Archer... Okay, well, let's replace bow and arrows with guns and make it Revi from Black Lagoon. Caster's just going to be Lena Inverse. It's just easy. Assassin... Well, the original Assassin reminded me a lot of Rurouni Kenshin. Okay, so let's... Kenshin for Assassin. Berserker's Guts from Berserk, because that fits really well. Lancer. Not many people in anime use the lances. Who uses a lance? Oh, Shiruji from Samurai 7. He uses a lance. There we go. There's a Lancer. And a Rider. Rider. Cloud Strife. There you go, because he has a kick-ass bike. There. And if I was to have a servant, I would have Saber as a servant. Why? Because Saber is badass. Alright, and that's it from me for today. If you would like to send in a wonderful question for me to answer at some point in the future, you can at mailbagshowdown@glassreflection.net. That is mailbagshowdown@glassreflection.net, and hopefully I will get to your questions in the future at some point in time. And until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and others, stay frosty.